Hi guys, an update on the garden. It's the end of July, and here is how my celery plants look at this point. See, there's really good leaf growth. You want a lot of leaf growth in your celery because the majority of the nutrition in celery is in the leaves. I've said this before, not the stalks. The stalks do obviously have nutrients in them too, but most of the nutrients are concentrated in the leaves. Strawberry plants. I picked a bunch of the fruit already. There's some producing more again. Some fruits are coming out here. Here's my broccoli plants. Look at that, a huge head's forming here. And I chopped off a bunch of these bigger heads so that these little ones are forming. You can see. Now look at that, there's a big one there. I don't know why some of them don't come out solid together, but these are all the collards. Collards seem like they're doing pretty good. Not many yellow leaves. Most of them are dark green. You got to keep feeding these things though. That's the challenge of collard greens and kale and broccoli, is that these plants are huge feeders. And oh look, there's a dragonfly. Let's see if I can get him. Oh, shit. There he is right there. See the dragonfly? Oh, there he goes. Anyways, this is the tomato plants. Look how large they've gotten. This is incredible. Look at all this growth. I have to step back so you can see all of this. This is one bed right here. That whole thing is one bed. Look how large, how much foliage and growth this has gotten. And there's tomatoes forming all over the plants. Incredible. I love tomato plants. Another bed's worth right there. We still got some beets down here. The beets are kind of hard to maintain because, well, first of all, the tomato plants are in competition with the nutrition in the soil with the beets. The nice thing about beets is the roots are like a ball, you know. But if they were like a regular plant where the roots stretch out in all different directions, they'd be really competing for the nutrition even more. But you just got to keep feeding them and putting manure on top of them so that they keep getting the nitrogen to produce more green in their leaves. This is the entire bed of red bell pepper plants. Look at this. A whole forest full of this stuff. I'll give you an example of how good these... See, there's some fruit developing. Let's see if I can... Right there. Yeah. There's some bigger ones back here. It's going to be hard to reach, but... See, there's one right there. There's one right there. Back there. All these different... There's so many of these that are developing. These Swiss chard went to seed, as that these are. For some reason I think they're at the end of their cycle. I haven't figured out what causes that. My carrots are coming out really well. Huge bushes of carrots. Dino kale, collards. A little bit of small chard that came out. I started that a little late, that's why they're smaller. Oh, here's some broccoli heads. Look at that. And here's red Russian kale in the middle, and this is curly green kale on the ends here. Yeah, curly edges here compared to, like, say for instance, the dino kale over there. And then we have watermelon. Let's see here if I can get a... There's a watermelon right there forming. This whole plant is watermelon. This is green beans. I got a whole bunch of them over there too. I gotta water this one with water. Tomato plants. Big tomatoes coming out. I don't know exactly why some of these are turning a little yellow. This is a very strange mystery to me. Some of the other ones are okay. Look at this one's got a ton of fruit growing on it. Here's my cucumber plants. There's a huge whole row of these things. There's a cucumber growing there. Look at that big one over there. Lots of cucumbers growing. Back up so you can see all these. Look at that. All cucumbers. Earlier, like about a month ago, I had a huge infestation of what they call yellow striped cucumber beetles. I had to kill the crap out. I killed a whole bunch of these things because they were like mating on my cucumber flowers, and you know, if you're not careful, these things can go inside the plant and destroy and devastate an entire plant and kill it. Here's some more bell peppers. Now look at these. These are green beans. Look at that. Look at all that. If you can see that from the glare of the sun. A whole forest of these things. These are all green beans. More green beans. I got a lot of green beans. And here's the dino kale. A couple of beds of dino kale. They're doing really well. Here's some grape tomato plants. Started in buckets, 5-gallon buckets. They're doing really well. They're not as developed as those big ones over there because the root structure is compromised because of the small enclosure, so you're not going to get as much of a development using buckets. But buckets do, of course, under ideal soil substrate conditions, produce what you see here. You know, and you gotta get a cage for it, of course. Here's some more dino kale back here. We had another infestation of cabbage worm, so it started eating a lot of my kale. I had to kill a bunch of those. That's the problem with organic, is that when you're not using chemicals, you get crap loads of bugs. But that's the way it works. Here's some babies I'm starting. They're already actually starting to come out. Dino kale babies to replace the big ones when we harvest them. And then I got some radishes here. The spinach hasn't come out yet. I don't know why. Spinach is such a pain to germinate. Here's my chembuster. Here's one of them, actually, sitting right next to the babies. Another chembuster is over here by my tree, between those two swans. And here was my first attempt at a chembuster over here. That's using black iron oxide and some crystals, but that one isn't as effective as the one over there, the one over here. And here's my apple tree. And I think we started producing some apples. They're not very big. See? Look at that. The tree is like all the other plants. You got to keep feeding them. I recommend blood meal for the nitrogen development, which is responsible for the green color in plant and leaf development. And then, of course, you want some calcium, so give them some bone meal. And then usually azomite rock dust. Azomite stands for A to Z of all minerals. That will actually give you a lot of good results with development. So, hope you enjoyed my garden. I'm going to give you a quick back up and give you a quick overview of the whole thing. Here's the broccoli and the collard green beds right over here. And here's the beets and the tomatoes. And then you got the bell peppers over here. Back there is the kale, the Swiss chard, collard greens, and the carrots. Swiss chard back there, baby dino kale growing, and then we got all back here is all cucumbers. And then towards the end here on the buckets, the last 6 I think are all green beans. And here's the dino kale with the tomatoes in the buckets. This is all celery, like a huge forest worth of celery. They're doing really well. Nice dark green color and some strawberries. So, hope you liked it.